Okay, so I've got Arcade pulled up here on my screen, and you can see the different samplers that are there, right? These are the new samplers. If you want to go ahead and download them, you can. You can also go over here to your lines, and you can see the samplers that are available to you to use. If we go here to like drip, you can see the samplers in here. There's 80 different samplers. There aren't any that we can download at this point in time, but if we pick this chances of rain, we open up the actual sampler that you can use. You can see there are like 4 effects. You got one here, one here, one here, and one here, right? Ambience, drop, rubberize, and pulse on the left, on the right hand side. So these are sliders. So you can actually slide them and change the sound, right? So you don't have to use the loop the way that it came. You can actually change it. You can change it to what you want it to be. Now, you also have 6 different editing windows that you can go into. There's a sample editor. Let's click on that. And this is where you have the sample chops at. And you've got a bunch of different other features like volume, pan, attack, release, crossfade. On the right side here, you've got tuning, so you can kind of tune it up and down. You can change it according to your audio. You've got a loop button here, which is going to be important today. We're going to show you that in a little bit. You've also got speed, so you can play it at a half speed, quarter speed, double it, whatever you want to do there. You've got your effects sends as well here on the bottom right hand side here too. You're going to see those in just a moment here in the mixer, where we've got an ambient reverb and then ambient delay as well. So all of these windows at the top are the same as these windows, these buttons here. If you click on these buttons, it'll take you directly to that. So we were in modifiers, goes to the modifier edit window. But you don't have to get out of this to actually change it. You can actually go right here to the mixer, just by selecting the tab, which is really kind of cool. But it's got reverb here, equalizer, it's got a delay, it's got a phaser. You can actually switch these out to other things if you want to change them. You got choruses, limiters, filters, all types of stuff here that you can change it to. And you can change the panning on it, all types of things. You can change the sends on it, adjust EQ. It's very, very comprehensive. Over here on the master, you've got 4 more effects that you can add as well. So, you can change things here. So we're going to be working with some of this today so that you can see exactly how you might utilize this when you're creating your own custom sample packs, right? So we talked about the lines. These lines are pre-made. If you feel like you've got a sample library that you want to integrate, how do you use that with Arcade? Well, let's go here to your stuff, which is right here on the left-hand side here. Click that tab, and we'll go to downloaded, which are the sample kits that you've downloaded from Arcade. I've got almost 5,000 of them, so I never have beat block because of that. Then I've got favorited here as an option. So if you have certain things that are your favorites or something you want to save and you don't want to have to go back and remember where it was, quickly favorite it. It'll appear in this window, and if you got to restart the computer or something, you can come back to it and you know exactly where it is. You've got custom, which is what we're going to be working on today. All of these kits are custom kits, drum kits, and different things that I've created over time. So we're going to be creating one of these today so that you can see how you actually do that, right? We're a little bit stuck here, so we're going to wait for the computer to kind of come back here and let us work here a little bit. Okay, there we go. So let's go to this imported samples tab. And you can see that we've got some samples that are already in here, but I've got a list of samples that I've been working on from Slate Digital, and they're going to be on this list here. So I'm going to take this top loop clicker, 85, and I'm just going to drag it on top of this window here in Arcade. So now you can see it's analyzing the audio file, and it's going to add that into our new sampler, custom sampler that we're creating, right? We're going to generate sampler. And right now what it's doing, it's slicing up the audio for you so that you can, let's close this down just a little bit here. It's slicing up the audio for you, and then what's going to happen, it's going to start to create that sampler. Now you notice that you've got your effects on the left and right hand sides. You've got tone, spread, filter, and fuzz here. But those change depending on what you select from what I like to call is the effects presets, or the pizza pie here. You can change it to modern lift, and it will redo the effects. Now you've got space, hype, radio, and wave. If I go to vintage texture, it's going to give me different effects. And so, you know, depending on what you hear and what you like, you can actually change it. Now down here, you've got the sample slicing as well. You've got standard, which is just going to chop it on the transients for you. You've got stretched, which is going to stretch out the notes a little bit for you as well. You've got shifted, which is going to pitch shift it as it goes up the keyboard. And then you've got chopped, which is a whole other slice for it too. So I haven't used chopped a whole lot, but it'll chop things up for you. And I'm pretty much going to just use standard today so that we can get through this lesson. But here's the first sample, right? Let's listen again. All right, I noticed a few things already. It's looping, number one. The second thing I'm noticing, there's a lot of reverb on it, and then there's a lot of delay on it, right? So don't worry about that. That's something we can fix. We're going to show you that here. Here's the full loop on the end. So it's just hi-hats and like a block type snare type thing. And it's kind of flanged or whatever. There's a little phaser type thing going on with it too. But how do we fix that? Well, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and save it. Up here in the upper right hand corner, we're going to save and play. And then our options are going to come up to edit this. So we can go down here to sample edit, right? And like I said, all of these here, all of these windows will appear as tabs here, right? So you don't have to get out. But we're in the sample edit window now. The first thing I want to do is take off the loop, because I don't want all of those samples as drums to be looping like that all the time. There's special circumstances where I might want it to loop, but normally I don't want that with my kicks and my snares or whatever. They're really, really short, so I don't really want that to be looping when I'm trying to play it on the keyboard, right? Or on the pads, right? So what I'll typically do is I will go through and take that off. So I'll take the loop off for this one. That's this key here. So let's start here. Let's start at this key. We'll just go through and we'll take all of the looping off. This one we already did. You have to kind of go through it and click on each one. I haven't figured out yet if you can actually set it up so that it doesn't loop first. I think they were thinking, okay, people are using samples, so they want it to loop. And so they kind of defaulted to that. But for me, since I use it for a lot of drums, I would rather that it didn't loop and then I just turn the loop on, because I don't use a lot of full loops when I'm producing. I chop them up anyway. I only use bits and pieces. So for me, that doesn't work. But for other people, they're going to be sample producers that are going to just use the loop. I typically leave this key on loop because that's the full loop. The last key is going to be the full loop. So you typically have like 13 of these keys that your sample is spread over, or your loop is spread over and then chopped up onto these 13 keys. So now if we listen to this, it only plays one time, right? It's not looping. It just plays one time. And if we listen to the full loop, that's just the loop that it is. We still hear some of the effects on there. So I'm going to go over here to my mixer. It's got lo-fi, it's got distortion box, and then it's got reverb. So I'm going to turn that reverb off because I was hearing a lot of reverb there. So let's go here to the full loop again. Now it's dry, right? And you can adjust the reverb if you like it, but I'm just going to take it all the way off. I also have this delay here on my master bus, so I'm going to take that off as well. Now it's a lot more dry. It's a lot more usable, right? So let's go over and play some things over here. So you can see that it's just bits and pieces. So it's drums. These are little hi-hats and a little bit of block type work. So it's not going to be something that's going to be super, melodic or anything like that. That's not what we're looking for. We're just looking to be able to play it on the keys and get what we're looking for to add to the track. So that's kind of how you edit that so that you don't have all that reverb and all those other effects on it. You can edit that right in those windows. Now, the number one thing you want to do is you want to go up here to the top to these three little dots here, and you want to save it. Anytime you make edits, you want to go ahead and save it. Because if you move over to another custom kit, or you move over to another kit and come back, all of those edits and all of that removing of the looping is not going to be there, and you're going to be unhappy. So, but that's how you create a custom kit. And now that should play. You can play them however you wish to play them with your track. And because you've got the key here on the side, you can always make sure that every instance of Arcade that you pull up happens to have the full the right key. And I think that's what made a big difference for me, because I'm not a keyboard player. I don't really know music theory that well. So I want my things to be in key. I want all of my melodies and all of my stuff to be in key. So I will change the key here in Arcade, and it makes it really easy to do that. I don't even have to think about it. I'll go in, I change the key on every instrument that I put up and add on, and I'm always in key. And so that's important to me, and that's one of the reasons why I started using Arcade so much. So I just thought I would share something with you guys today that might help you in your journey to music production. And if you're not familiar with Arcade, this is the way I kind of create custom kits. Hopefully that's helpful to you, and hopefully you learned something here today. Arcade didn't sponsor this. I'm not affiliated with Arcade in any sort of way. I just wanted to kind of jump on here and do something that might be helpful to you guys, all right? So, hey, it's your boy Knock Rio. If you learned anything from this, if you like what you saw today, smash the like button for me, and maybe subscribe to the channel, and that'll help me out a little bit, all right? Peace. Have a good day.